Hey guys, Tom here, and I know it's been a while since I've released a video like this, and I wanted to take some time and record another video going back and discussing an old topic that I'd covered before in the past. I wanted to do better with research and getting information provided for this particular content in this video. So I hope you guys will enjoy this video. I hope you guys will hang around, and we're going to revisit the haunted Kasha house of KaiMuki. I think is how it's pronounced. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but it's located in Hawaii. Really interesting history, really interesting read. All right, guys. So for this particular discussion or this particular video to kind of lay the groundwork for what goes on at this house, we need to first visit the initial discussion of what exactly are Kasha and what they are traditionally based on what I've been able to find so far online. So, the Kasha in a traditional haunting is a specter that may make itself known through knocks to make a break in the silence or with mischievous but otherwise harmless acts. Think of this as along the lines of like a bump in the night or like a knock on a wall that you don't know where it's really coming from. It's kind of like some of the ways that they let you know that they're here or they're there. And over time tend to elevate to a worst part of a haunting and their penchant for snatching human bodies, which is only like a fraction of the true horrors that they tend to bring in these hauntings. According to Japanese folklore, they present themselves as house cats or wandering strays. They're deceptive, allowing no one to see through their disguise until they're ready to be seen for what they really are. Now, the phrase Kasha or the term Kasha translates loosely to fire cart or burning chariot, which may reference the cart that they're sometimes depicted as using in order to take the bodies with them to the underworld. For the unfortunate souls who come face to face with the Kasha, though, the fire isn't really so much as a physical element, but more of a metaphor for the hell that gets inflicted upon them. Though the Kasha is known for snatching bodies of the recently deceased, a grip from which there's no release, the devilish critter was claimed to have terrorized the home on 8th and Harding Avenue for reasons that are currently unknown, and decided to set its sights on the family that was living there. Now, with that being said, we get to move on to KaiMuki and the terror that befell upon that area. The most wicked and dangerous of spirits aren't typically those mere apparitions returning to oversee unfinished business or spirits attached to a relic of their past. Their existence is believed to be brought upon by tragedy and violence, murders and trauma, and all manner of acts that generate a change of negative energy. But the Kasha that showed up at this house seemingly breaks all these rules. And it all started randomly on a summer night in 1942. Documented in the Honolulu Star Bulletin, police responded to a disturbance call in the early hours of August 13th. The neighbors fearing domestic violence due to commotion and shrieking that was coming from the home in question. According to the news report, a young boy and his sisters were being terrorized by an unseen entity that attempted to strangle the two girls. The mother allegedly is blaming her husband for the manifestation and has stated, "My husband who left me is to blame." This also then brings up some questions. Did the then absent husband summon the Kasha? Or did the couple inadvertently call it into existence through a tumultuous relationship? All that is known is that it was normal until the son stated that he could detect an odor of ghosts. Now, I don't know the name of the son, but if I was able to get in contact with him, I would love to hear in his words what this odor is that he had smelled, because I'm curious about if it was more of a sulfur smell or what exactly it was that he smelled that night. And this also then brings us on to the incident of the Kasha house on KaiMuki, which is pretty interesting to read into, because this goes later on after the incident that initially happened with the family that was living there. This is going to be later on in time after they've since moved and left. So on the night of August 13th, there was a claim that that wasn't the last of the times that the island would hear about the spirit. The following editorial comes from a Halloween editorial of 1972. The piece followed a police officer that was patrolling KaiMuki and had a call that was received from the girls staying in the house in the area. It is believed to be the home of Harding and was about an unexplainable presence. And when they reference the home of Harding, they're talking about the original home from the story that we covered before. Wanting to leave to stay with the mother of one of the girls, the trio requested for this officer to follow them, fearing the voices could be that of someone that was pursuing them. And the night quickly dissolved into chaos when the girls pulled into a parking lot shortly after leaving the house. And the officer witnessed one of them struggling with an unseen force. According to the officer, the girl was being strangled, and though he never saw who or what it was, he did claim to have felt a strong, calloused hand grab his arm. The spectral fiend continued its assault as the officer struggled to help, even going as far as to kill the motor of the patrol car when he loaded the girl that was being strangled into it. It wasn't until the police sergeant arrived and used Hawaiian salt and water to deter the spirit that the girls were finally able to be free of its grasp. Now, the question that I have when this comes up is, how did this police sergeant already know that that's what was needed to be used in order to deter it? Curious if it's some sort of a belief system that is seen over there in Hawaii. Now, the Kasha House of KaiMuki, which is what is tied with this local legend, became legendary in Honolulu. And if you asked any of the neighbors or natives, chances are they all have their own story about the beast that once tortured the residents. However, in 2016, many believe that the eerie home was torn down and replaced by an unassuming contemporary build. The main thing that comes to question, though, is, did that release the property from the Kasha's grip? Is it simply lying in wait for the next victim to catch its scent? And the reason why the Kasha first manifested still remains a mystery. Some claim the home on 8th and Harding was the site of at least one murder, and that there's even whispers that there's a tombstone in the backyard. Now that comes to wonder, was this home actually bulldozed? Was the decades-long haunting never actually attributed to the right home? One thing is for sure though, something did terrorize that neighborhood, and it may only be a matter of time before it returns. So that's going to do it with this video, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments down below if you like the return to the urban legends type content. And also, if there's any stories that you would like me to cover on my channel, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And also, as always, enjoy life, take it a day at a time, and I'll catch y'all later. Real quick before you click off this video, if you're still here, I want to remind you guys that there is a Patreon, a Buy Me a Coffee, and a merch store for this channel. So if you're still here and you want to check that stuff out, feel free to click the link in the description down below and check out any of that stuff to see if it interests you. It's not required, but it's much appreciated if you decide to. Hope y'all have a good rest of the afternoon, evening, or night, depending on what time you're watching this.